Hello, in this video I'm going to go over with you some intermediate results I've had in some seedling transplant experiments that I'm doing. So here I have 10 different seedlings that I've started in. These are milk carton containers, and these are bottomless containers. I have no bottom on them, and also they've been planted or been put in this is an old worm bin tray that has holes in the bottom of it. So the reason for this is I wanted the bottom of the roots to be air pruned. I had initially had these in just a regular tray, seedling tray, but the bottom was staying wet, and then the roots were growing out into the seedling tray, which I wanted to avoid. As earlier videos I explained that if you get a lot of bottom roots with these transplants and then put them in the ground, it cuts off all the oxygen and they're much more likely to wilt. So I wanted to avoid that. But what was very interesting is I put all of these are mixed with compost and different soil amendments I wanted to that I was experimenting with. And one of these did much better than the others. Can you see which one is not like the others here? And so I want to just go through and show you all these ones. Okay, here's the one that actually did the best, and it did the best by far. So I thought this was worthwhile just putting a video just to see this. Is that this is 3 of the seeds sprouted here, and this is squash and 2 cucumbers. But for this one I had in just compost, and in with the compost I mixed in these just corn cob wafers. I just took an old corn cob that we had, and I just sliced them up into little wafers, and I mixed this in with the soil, and it did fabulous actually. So let's take a quick look at the soil then. And one thing I like about these bottomless milk cartons is you can stick these in the ground when you're planting and then just slip it off, so it makes it easy. And I got this as a tip from some permaculture book I read about a decade ago. But anyway, here are the roots. You can kind of see these nice roots on the side, and you can see the corn cobs. They're kind of very kind of grayish now, kind of mixed in with the soil. Now the one thing about corn cobs I found is that they soak up a lot of water and hold a lot of water. So if you stick one of these in a in a pan of water, you can find out they get very soggy. So I think for whatever reason the roots really like this, and I guess it kept lots of moisture inside, and this one did by far the best. And they might have also been decaying too and giving it some nutrients. Okay, let's keep going around here. Now the next one that did well is this one, and I recommend if you ever do experiments like this, you don't don't use a regular magic marker or a pencil when you're writing what they are, because I did that and they all washed out, so I couldn't really tell. So I have to lift them all up to see what I did. Okay, so this one was interesting. I used wood chunks. I took a redwood tree that I had, and what I did is I just broke up little chunks like this into, this is very dry wood at the time I put it in here, about 1 inch blocks, and I put them in mostly vertically. And so this one actually did probably the second, or tied for second best with all these chunks in here. And so I don't know if that's due to the wood chunks or anything. And the wood chunks are kind of wet, but definitely not soggy, since this was not rotted wood at all, but just redwood, which doesn't wick very well. So that one did fine. Oops, sorry. And let's see, another one that did well was this one. This probably did the third best, and can't read it, but let's see at the bottom. It's just compost in the bottom. And what do we have in here? Okay, this one I put a wafer in it, a wicking wafer. So I had one of these, which I use in a little smaller one, but I put a bunch of soil, put the wafer in here, and then more soil or compost below it. And that's what this one is, and you can kind of see here what it looks like. So it did provide a nice chambers here, and I think I did use one that had a hole in it too, so that you can get more aeration. And other than that, it's just straight compost though. So just straight compost with a wood wafer at the bottom. And let's see here. Let's put that down there. Okay, this one did okay. And what was this one here? I can't tell. Let's see. Oh, okay. So another one I did was not wood wafers, but I used it's called brown dry rot. So here, I went to the forest and found a log that looked like this and broke it up into little pieces. And I just put these pieces in here, randomly assorted. I didn't try to put them in vertically or anything because these, get very spongy, and they're just kind of like little sponges, actually. Well, depending on how rotted they are. So this one did okay, but not as good as the ones previously. And so I should line these up from best to worst so that at the end we can look at them one more time. Be a good idea. And let's see here. Probably this one. Okay. Okay, this was my control. This one I just used, I just purchased a seed starting mix. So that's all it is a seed starting mix. It's a very fine Jiffy seed. And it's basically just, very fine peat with vermiculite is what they used here. And that's what this one, and this one's definitely the heaviest or the soggiest one of them all. Okay, let's see. Yeah, okay, alright, this one. Let's see what I did here. Okay, so this one was a layer of compost, then about several inches of leaves, and then compost at the bottom. So leaves just nothing but leaves in the middle. And I was really hoping this one would do the best, but it didn't. Well, let's see what it looked like. Okay, there's a layer of soil or compost, a bunch of leaves, and soil on top. Oh boy, let's take it all the way off here. Alright. And that looks pretty interesting. And this is by far the lightest one. And let's see if I can get it back in here. Or not, but we'll see. Alrighty. So I'm going to go I'm going to plant these out in the garden probably tomorrow, and then, although it's too cool right now to do a real good test. Now it's in the mid-70s here, but I want to see how well these will transplant. To see if this will, and this kind of falls apart. Oh well. Alright, let's see. Okay, whoa. Well, yeah, that one didn't do too well. These all did about the same. Here's another one, and this is compost and something or other. I don't know what. Okay, this one is compost and wood chips. So for a few of these, I was hoping that wood chips would do well in the soil and seed starting soil. So I put in a bunch of wood chips like this, just mixed it through and did it. And that's what these looked like. And they, these are pretty small plants here. They didn't seem to like it as much. But wow, look at those roots though. Makes for nice air pockets for nice roots, but the plants didn't grow as big. Okay, and this one, all these ones were this was just a layer of soil with nothing but wood chips like this, and then nothing but wood chips on the bottom. I'm probably not going to try to transplant this one because it didn't look, but just to see what the what the roots look like. That's what roots look like growing through nothing but wood chips. They look nice, but the plant obviously didn't like it as much. Oh, big mess here. Let's see, two more to do. This one is, didn't make it. Well, this is a surprise. Let's find out. Oh, okay, so this was a layer of soil and then just all leaves, like no compost in the bottom. And that's what this one looks kind of like. So just leaves here. And now these ones might be the best. I don't know, it'll be interesting. I'm going to try to keep this one because they may transplant better than the other ones because it's so aerated here. When I water it, you'll get a good air flush when it's in the ground. And so, shoot. Well, let's take it off and do this. And get it back in its pot here. Okay. There we go. Okay. So these may actually transplant well, but that I don't know yet. And one more. Oh, this is another one that just had compost and wood chips mixed in. I did 2 of those just because I was hopeful, but that's it. So, that's the end of this one, but I guess the biggest thing that I found from this, whenever I do something random like this, I usually learn something very interesting. And the real interesting thing I learned was that plants like to grow in corn cobs. So I'm definitely going to be, maybe we'll eat some more corn this fall so I can have more of these to play with in the future.